Hey everyone, I'm the Chosen One Legend here, as always joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kai, also known as Fascorine.
And welcome back to the BunchaJokahs podcast, where we talk all Nintendo news of the past month. And I was just saying to Kai before we started recording, we were thinking this might be a nice chill month. Then they drop a direct on us.
Which we were.
I guess we should have been expecting, given their track for September directs, but we've got a fair few things to talk about. There was some quite good stuff in there, I think.
Yeah, it was honestly a pretty good one. I think one thing I said in the direct reaction is it's probably my least favourite of all the new ones so far. But regardless, mainly because there was like nothing, I would say entirely new. It was like additions to a lot of games we already knew about.
Yeah.
But the additions made were like, or a lot of them are really good. So it's
Definitely.
kind of up to interpretation.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of things to discuss here, so we're just going to get started with it. Of course, there will be timestamps in the description below if you want to hop about between the different sections. But let's just get started with our first segment of the podcast, Can't Have a Podcast Without News, baby, where we talk about the news that's happened. And, you know, it didn't actually start off with the Nintendo Direct. Sony decided they'd get a head start and have a PlayStation showcase. And, you know, we're not going to talk a lot about that, mostly because it was largely quite boring. Maybe that was just me, but...
I forgot there was one, I'll be honest.
Did you even watch it, Kai, out of curiosity?
No, I didn't.
You didn't miss much. But
Okay.
one thing I do want to mention, though, is they announced that Spider-Man 2 is coming. The sequel to, of course, Spider-Man and then Miles Morales. And it seems to be a crossover between both versions of Spider-Man. And I'm so excited for this. And I haven't even played all of the original Spider-Man yet. I've only played a little bit of it out of friends. But now that I have the right console to do it myself, I really want to get into this franchise because it's just such a fluid feeling game of swinging through New York. And
it just seems satisfying overall.
Yeah, do you have any interest in the series at all, Kai?
I probably not entirely, just because I don't play too many new games on PS4 and onwards. But it looks really good, I've got to say.
Well, you say newer.
Any game with pizza time is good. So
damn right. I mean, the original was like, is it 2-3 years old now, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, that's odd to think of.
Time's odd, but yeah, I'm glad that it's been very successful, so it's no wonder it's keeping going. But I'm very glad to hear about that, and I look forward to being able to get into the series myself. But the only other thing I want to mention that they announced was a Star Wars thing, which, as you know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. They announced a remake of Knights of the Old Republic, which is a very classic Star Wars game that people love quite a bit. I'll admit, I paid it for 10 minutes on Steam, then realised why I don't like gaming on my laptop and gave up. but a remake on consoles, I don't think I'm going to be able to pass this up, you know, give it some modern tweaks. Do you know anything about this game? I'm going to assume no.
Not much, no.
I think it's developed by BioWare, I believe.
Right,
I hope that's correct. If not, I'll flash up the correct studio on screen. But it's one of those games where you have choices about how you go about and explore, Mass Effect kind of thing style.
Ah, I see. Okay.
But it actually is Star Wars, so it's very well renowned. And they can
cool.
Yeah, if they can polish it with modern upgrades and just put other polishes to the gameplay, I'm going to be looking forward to picking this up. And interestingly, we're cutting a bit ahead now, but in the Nintendo Direct, they showed off that the original Knights of the Old Republic is coming to Switch. Not the remake, just a port of the original. And I feel like that would have got me much more excited if I didn't know that a remake is coming, but it's...
Yeah, it was a really odd decision to be like, well, we're making a remake, but here's the original, I guess. Like,
yeah.
Why not wait for the new one? I don't know, maybe there's licensing reasons or something. But
I guess if you don't have the modern consoles, it's available on Switch, which is nice, and maybe you just want something to keep you going, or maybe the remake's changing more than we expect. But either way, it's still not bad to have options to play the game, I suppose, so I'll take more Star Wars options any day.
Certainly never hurts.
But we're going to continue this trend of things Kai probably doesn't care about, because they announced a new SpongeBob 3D platformer called the Cosmic Shake. And all that they showed in the reveal trailer was a cinematic that just went all in on the memes. You know, it had Sweet Victory playing throughout it. That's not a bad thing. I mean, there's ways that can go bad, leaning too hard into the memes and being a crap gameplay-wise. But good solid start. Did you watch this trailer, Kai?
Yes. It felt like it was not a real game in a way. It felt like it was just like some random group of people were just like, let's make a funny SpongeBob game, and they just did it. And I guess
there was no gameplay. Yeah.
It's just a bunch of memes and stuff. I just thought it was real, but I guess so.
Yeah,
big game all over again.
Oh god. I mean, we're reviewing that for the channel, right? That's going to be our first review here. But that aside, I am definitely interested in this. I am assuming it's by the team who made the Battle for Bikini Bottom remake. And whilst I think there were some missteps, generally I thought that was a decent adaptation of the original game. The animation quality and the visuals looked great, and if they can bring that over and the sense of humour and style to a new game, there's some good potential there. It's definitely interesting. Particularly
as people are going to enjoy is the main thing. Like, people are just going to have fun with it, because it just seems like it doesn't. Of course, we haven't seen the gameplay, but like, I get the feeling this is going to be one of those games where the gameplay's very much at the background, and it's just the funny parts which are the focus, which isn't necessarily a bad thing at all.
Yeah, even like the original Battle for Bikini Bottom, the gameplay's solid, but it's not what you're there for. It does a good enough job for you to enjoy the scenery and the atmosphere, and as long as this does the same, I think there's definitely potential for it to be a lot of fun. So
that's definitely the case.
I'm going to have to pick this up. I think last time I ended up spending 15 minutes talking about Battle for Bikini Bottom on the podcast, so probably expect the same, but
look forward to that.
You're in for a treat. But now we can finally get to the big guns. The Nintendo September Direct, which happened. And now, first of all, we did do a reaction video to this, so if you want our initial impressions, the highlights of that are on the channel. Check it out. But now we're going to go a little bit more in depth on some specifics games here. I've not included everything because we would be here in eternity, so I've passed over some games that didn't show much new or we wouldn't have much to say about or wouldn't be interested in. But of course, if I miss anything you want to mention, do say at the end, Kai.
Of course, I'll be talking all about Disney Magical World 2 Enchanted Edition.
Well, and that's it. You're reviewing Peppa Pig, I'm reviewing Disney Magical World, so it's sort of dual reviews there, but
sounds like a plan.
But one thing, I think this is, as I mentioned in the reaction, this was probably the most hype I've ever seen you, and that was Age of Calamity DLC, the second expansion pass, because they showed a bit of story stuff. We didn't really get what was going on from it, but it seemed cool. Then they showed off Robbie and Purah as a playable duo, it seems. Give us your thoughts, Kai.
I was just happy that he was there.
You seemed it.
I've been calling it on the channel the whole time. I've been saying I just want Robbie to be playable. He's so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, look at all this potential for a moveset as well and all that. I just wanted him to be there so that I wasn't, having this pipe dream this entire time. I just wanted it to happen. And it's happened now. I'm done. I probably will buy the DLC, but like, it's not something that I'm going to be rushing to do and complete. But I'm just happy he's there. He's got the representation he deserves in the game.
You can finally rest
I was
now.
Just happy. Yeah, I was just glad he was there. I've been waiting on this for like a year now. It's been good.
They do look like a lot of fun. I think doing them as a duo rather than one character slot is probably quite a good idea.
Yeah, it definitely works. Nice quality.
They're just both really fun personalities, so seeing the way that translates into movesets, they've already done such a good job with all the other characters in the game, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely seems like a lot of fun. And of course, we know we're getting one more character, which... I mean, at this point, is it going to be Suga? Is it going to be Astor? I think they're the two obvious ones, but
Suga,
maybe they'll...
Astor, yeah.
maybe they'll surprise us and add, like, I don't know, the flower girl from Breath of the Wild in there.
Oh, can you?
never-
Oh, I'd love the flower girl in there. Replace the fairies. Honestly. You know what
Yeah.
I thought would be cool that I
Mm-hmm.
originally thought it was in the trailer is there was like a close up for quite a long time on Fireblight Ganon. And I
Yeah.
was sitting there thinking, are the blights going to become playable? Kind of in a similar way to the fairies are, I guess. That's not something like I'm particularly striving for. It's not Robbie levels of hope, but I don't know. I think that'd be kind of cool. But ultimately, I think Suga or Astor probably or definitely deserves it more. So
Yeah, that would be interesting, especially if they, and don't hate me for this, but if they played a bit like the fairies, in how when you use different moves you switch between a blight. I
yeah,
think
that
that
makes
could be
sense, yeah.
that could be interesting. But I think I'm gonna guess Suga. I'm gonna put my money on him.
Yeah,
But
I'd say Suga as well.
we'll see. I mean, I've already bought the
Maybe it'll be
expansion pass.
evil egg.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
that's-
yeah, evil egg.
But yeah, Suga's probably the most likely.
Yeah. I'll be looking forward to it either way because, like I said, I own the expansion pass now, so I might as well give it a shot. Should be good fun.
Yeah, loads more story.
But the next thing I want to mention here, I'm actually not sure if this is perfectly in order, but it's going by my memory, so let's hope for the best.
Okay.
They announced we're going to find out the new Smash Bros. Character on October the 5th, so only 2 days after this video's going up.
Very soon.
Sadly, Kai won't be able to react to it with me because he just hates fun, that's how it is.
Yeah.
It's a
Gotta
shame.
go kill chaos. I'm busy.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah. No, I'll be at university, so I will not be there. However,
I will be doing a reaction video, hopefully with Sam. It will go well, all goes well. So do look forward to that. I'm definitely looking forward to it. But let's get your thoughts now, Kai.
okay.
You have to say who's the final character gonna be. Just one name.
You already put me on the spot here. Now
That's what I do.
I'm not someone who's like very sure or demanding it to be a certain character because I genuinely. I mean, I've been saying it for months now, basically, haven't I? Like, I genuinely have no idea in the slightest who the last one could be.
Same.
I think characters like Crash are definitely possible, but I don't want it to encourage it being Crash because all the Crash fans are annoying to me. So I don't particularly. Want
Also,
it to be
Activision aren't in a good light at the moment, so
Also that, yeah. So
yeah.
my personal favourite pick would be either another Xenoblade rep, but that's just not going to happen. I would love a rep from just any level 5 game would be my one. Just Ni no Kuni, Professor Layton, Inazuma 11. But the most likely one would be Professor Layton there, but
What if you got
anyone from level
Catriel?
5. I would cry. I would be glad that Catriel finally appears in a good game for once.
Fair point.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna say a level 5 rep, which may be cheating because it's not a single character. But hey, it's level 5. They're not gonna get anything. Let's be honest.
I'm going to, Microsoft continue to be chummy with Nintendo. We're getting, as we'll get to later, Banjo-Kazooie on Switch finally. So I'm going to say Master Chief, and let's just maybe that'll be it.
Chief.
I don't necessarily think it, but I don't know. Like you, I don't know who to think at this point, so I might as well say him. Maybe Phoenix Wright. That could be cool as well.
I would love Phoenix Wright.
That would be an awesome pick. But either way, we'll find out in just under a week. Like I said, 2 days when this is releasing. So
Yeah.
either way, it's going to be hype, and people are going to be mad. But that's just the way of Smash.
That's my favourite part, though. Oh, if it's a
Yeah.
Pokemon rep, I'm just gonna laugh. It's so
Ooh.
funny.
I'll just be content with some good Sword and Shield tunes, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good ones in there.
But the next thing that they showed off, which is something I'm really hyped for, it might be my favourite part of the Direct, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. A new Kirby game that's a 3D Kirby for basically the first time. I'm really looking
Mario
forward to
Odyssey
this.
2 is looking great. Yeah, it's...
It really is. It's Kirby Odyssey, exactly. But
yeah, I think we're still trying to figure out whether it's like an Odyssey or a 3D world type of game.
yeah,
But either way, it's definitely that, but we've added Kirby to make it even better. So that looks great. Yeah.
from what I've seen, 3D Lands, 3D World does seem the more apt comparison, I reckon. Just other than the setting, just based on how you're moving down sort of 3D sections, but in a very linear fashion. And I'd imagine that's probably what it's going to be mostly. But it looks like a lot of fun and a good mix-up for the Kirby series, which has basically been the same formula since Return to Dreamland. Which isn't a bad thing, but it's good for them to mix it up.
I think this will be a hit. I think this will be
definitely.
Really
this is one that I'm going to get at launch and just 100% because I'm keen when it comes to Kirby, but you can't blame me. The only thing I do wonder is if it will have multiplayer, because that is always really fun in Kirby games.
Because in the trailer we saw no semblance of a multiplayer. Now maybe they haven't sort of programmed it in. We didn't get a release date, did we?
No, just 2022 or spring 2022.
Right. So yeah, I think that maybe they just haven't completed that part of the game yet, or something. I do really hope there's at the very least 2-player though, because it's just these kind of exploration games. They just work so much better when you have multiple people. But you know, I get it can be hard to make happen with the game's design.
I mean,
let's hope.
We didn't see any DDD or Meta Knight or Bandana Waddle Dee, so maybe they are going to be playable characters, not bosses or anything, or both. They have been both before, but
they've not been deconfirmed as anything so far, which is a good part.
The table's still the cards on the table, or some sort of saying that means yes, it could happen. So
cards on the cards, you say?
Oh,
that's an excellent segue.
Go for it, Kaiden. I'll let you take this one.
Alright, so yeah, one of the earliest games they announced, one of the few new ones, was Voice of Cards, the Isle Dragon Roars. Now, one of the reasons people find this very interesting is because it's got the big sort of tag of Yoko Taro on it. Everyone's very excited about that.
Yeah.
So, honestly, this is one... It's a weird one, but this is one where I just looked at it and I was instantly like, I'm going to pick this up. Like, I just know I am. Because I do like card game. You know, I like games with that card aesthetic. I like when they lay it out like that. Apparently, I haven't played the demo yet, but apparently the game's not actually that card focused. It's just what the game looks like, and it's actually an RPG.
Yeah,
it just looks great.
I've downloaded the demo, but I haven't started it yet. But that definitely appeals to me. I'm not a big fan of card games, but if it's a card aesthetic with more RPG gameplay, that definitely has some interest to me. And as we'll get to later, I've just sort of starting to get an affinity for Yoko Taro's work. So the music alone, when you heard that, that was very Nier-like. And you combine that with the visuals of Kirby, it's like they're throwing out all the Nier vibes in this direct. But
yeah, the game looked really solid though. I'm looking forward to seeing that one come out properly.
Definitely. And the next thing I want to bring up here is something that was rumoured for quite a while, but it's finally happening. Nintendo Switch Online is getting DLC, but it's including the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Genesis, with a few selection of games from those. You know, classics such as, of course, Sonic 2, Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, and coming later down the line are games like Banjo-Kazooie, Paper Mario. By the end of it, I think they sold us when they showed us the future games that are coming, because that's a lineup.
Yeah, at first I was looking at it and I was thinking sort of, really? They put DLC on the online service? That's a bit naff, and they're just charging more for it? What are they doing? And then they showed off the list of N64 games that are going to be coming, and I was like, okay, this makes complete sense now, because, trying to buy a lot of those games nowadays is bloody expensive. It's really difficult. So it's great that they're all just going to be showing up, and I would say that for those who are like, it's just, why are they doing this with the online and all that? I'd treat it as like a completely separate thing. Just it's a N64 portal. That's all it is,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it can be understated the importance of playing these games online multiplayer, up to 4-player, with games like Mario Kart and Star Fox multiplayer, because whilst that's cool with the SNES games, there's really not too much value for it. You can do Mario Kart SNES for a bit, but
there's not...
64 is the multiplayer machine. That is the game that things like Dr. Mario Online could be a lot of fun. I don't think you can understate how much more value the 64 adds to the service, at least for me personally, which is why I'm fine paying a bit more for it. I'd like to see how much. That would be nice to find out, especially because it's coming, this upcoming month. But I know I'm going to be opening my wallet for this because there's so much there that I have not played before. I've never played Banjo-Kazooie, I've never played Paper Mario, and I definitely haven't played a lot of these games online. So, yeah, I'm definitely sold on it.
Yeah, I think it should be good, definitely.
One thing that I'm not 100% sold on, but I think it's damn hilarious. Uh-oh. They revealed the cast for the Mario movie. With such highlights as Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, Seth Rogen Donkey Kong, Michael Keegan Toad, and I think it's Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. What an interesting choice!
Oh, they Hollywoodified this film, huh? They really
Yeah, they really did. And the thing is, ultimately, most of these picks I actually think are quite good for Hollywood picks.
Yeah, they're fine, honestly.
Jack Black as Bowser, as you mentioned, could be hilarious.
That'll be the highlight. It's going to be, of course, I don't think it'll be quite on the same level as Eggman in the Sonic film.
Oh,
because that was just phenomenal. But this will, I think Jack Black will still be the highlight of this film. Absolutely.
If they write him like they do in the RPGs, they are in for a solid time there.
Oh, I really hope they go the route of doing the RPG writing rather than the route of just sort of the more the mainline, he's big angry reptile. The ones where he's a dad is so much better. It's so much better.
The fact they chose Jack Black, you almost feel they've got to be going down that route, don't you? If they're picking such a comedy actor like Jack Black. I think the weirdest one is, of course, Chris Pratt. I mean, he's a good voice actor. He's done voice acting before in movies like Lego Movie, and he does a great job. It's just very hard to picture him as Mario, and we need to hear the voice, because what approach are they going to take for it? It's hard to say. Are they going with, I don't think they'll be doing the Italian thing, but will they be going the Brooklyn thing, like the old cartoons? Will they be doing just his normal voice?
The amount of times last week that I quoted his tweet where it just goes, "It's a Mario." That's not the voice. He just oh God, it's so funny.
That was good. Yeah, so he's a good actor. So hopefully it turns out well. Either way, whether it's fantastic or it's a train wreck, I am on board either way. I think it's going to be funny.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
But now. Actually, I think, do you want to mention Triangle Strategy, actually, Kai? I feel like you might have a few things to say.
I would like to, yeah. So they showed off a bit more. There was a release date. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's
March 4th, I think, or something like that.
That's it. Yeah, and they just basically said, we listened to your feedback, and we've made some improvements on the game. I can't remember exactly what all of them are, but there were quite a lot of good ones, such as the feature to turn back time, sort of go back to redo your turns if you make mistakes and stuff.
Difficulty options is really good.
Yeah, difficulty options is
camera
really
movement.
Good. It was a difficult game, which I liked.
Yeah,
the options are great. Camera movement. I think some UI updates. I'm really looking forward to this because it really looks like it's sort of a great entry into this genre, and it feels like they've properly thought okay, we're going to do this and we think this is good. They've then also taken feedback in and they gave themselves time. That's one of the biggest things is the fact that they didn't set a really near release date and just release it early. They actually went, we're going to give it a year, take some feedback in and improve it and stuff. So I just think this has a lot of potential and I really hope it sells well because I think it's going to be a blast. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to figure out.
It clearly worked well for them with Octopath doing that demo, and I'm glad to see that. I'm saying they did one with Bravely Default as well, I believe. So it's good to see that Square Enix are keeping up that trend, and I don't know if I'll end up getting this game. It depends on what else is at the time. 2022 is looking packed, but it definitely looks like a fantastic game, and if I don't get it, are you going to stream this, Kai, out of curiosity? or play it in your own time?
I think this will be a thing in my own time because it's just one of those games where I like
Makes
to
sense, yeah.
spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Yeah.
But this will be a really good one to just sort of get my brain going from time to time. Hopefully, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing how it turns out. And another big game for 2022, because for a direct that said it was focusing on winter, there's sure a heck of a lot of 2022 stuff in here.
Yeah, honestly.
Splatoon 3, which they showed off a bit more of gameplay, some new weapons, and the campaign, Return of the Mammalians, where things are hairy for some reason, which it's kind of scary. No rhyme intended there, but
I'm not sure how to feel about the fact that the new stuff in the game's like, of course we had like the Octolings and they were fun and all that, and then just they're hairy now, and it's like it's just Ice Age. It's just an Ice Age film.
Yeah. We're going to hear Ray
Um,
Romano voicing the Inklings at any moment in it, definitely.
it's very much it reminds me of Tropical Freeze actually a little bit with that.
Yeah.
But, in terms of the story, I mean, of course, Splatoon's never been big on story, but I'm unsure on how to feel of the setting of the game so far. I hope they do make it interesting because so far I'm not completely on board with that. But the gameplay and the new features, they've been showing off a lot of new like weapons and specials and all that sort of thing on Twitter the last couple of days, as well as the ones in the trailer.
Yes.
And they're definitely trying to make this have like enough new stuff from the previous games, considering that Splatoon 2 was also on the Switch. It does look like they've put in the effort to add in loads of new things, which is nice.
Yeah, I think we need more time on this, particularly the campaign. Everything was shown at like such a rapid pace that you couldn't gather what was going on. But it definitely caught my interest. Very true. It's definitely fitting the Woomy vibes there, but it's I'm definitely interested in this. Like I said in the reaction video, I missed out on 2 just because at the time I didn't really have anyone to play it with, and I don't really play these by myself. But now I know a lot of people who will be getting this, so I'm probably going to have to pick it up. And
must oppose the large lads.
I don't think there's much chance of that. Maybe we can do like a special video where we fight the large lads and get our butts handed to us. Oh, yeah, no. Just a self-destruction video, I suppose. But
I have nightmares about that roller.
Oh man, it's terrifying. But it looks good. And speaking of things that look good, Bayonetta 3. It only took...
Oh, are you talking about the game or the character? Let me just rewind real quick.
I said Bayonetta 3.
Okay.
So I meant the game. Though I like her new design. It looks cool.
I just thought that was smooth, man.
What can I say? I'm known for being smooth, aren't I, Kai? It's my reputation here, so
yeah.
I have something to live up to here. But the game is looking like a lot of fun. They teased us out there with like the Lappy from Astral Chain.
Yeah, that was a huge throw off right there.
Very Bayonetta style. I wouldn't be surprised if there are more Astral Chain references in the game, for example, and I would be absolutely on board with that because I love that game. But it's just nice to see it finally. It looks like more Bayonetta, rapid-paced action, destroying the heck out of... I don't even think they're angels or demons now, whatever they were this time.
It looks very... there was like the monsters, of course, but then it also looked quite futuristic. I don't know much about the other Bayonetta games, but do any of them have like random armies just kind of chilling in like a city?
I don't think we've seen an army. I mean, it is sort of set in a... You get some city levels. The opening to Bayonetta 2 is in like a city, so it's not entirely out of line. Now, literally, you're fighting on top of fighter jets in the first level of Bayonetta 2. So,
oh right, okay.
But you didn't see like that focus on army dudes. You kind of wonder to what extent that was for the fake out, or is that just what is happening with the story there? Everything seemed to be from like possibly the first level in the game, so it's hard to tell where things will go from that point. Everything felt quite contained, what they showed us. But the fact that it seemed to be from the same location and there was so much crazy shit happening, that's Bayonetta for you. So
I mean, is there any connection between Astral Chain and Bayonetta in terms of like the creators or anything? Because That
It's
seems
Platinum
like
Games.
really...
Yeah, it's Platinum Games.
Oh, okay, same team. I was thinking, like, because otherwise it'd be very weird to just see Lappy there. But,
Right,
alright, that
yeah.
makes complete sense. I had a feeling, especially because of the style of the games anyway, so...
Yeah, they make fun games, so a lot to look forward to.
Definitely.
You haven't played any Bayonetta, have you, Kai?
No, I have, like, no experience with the series. I just know it's very combo-heavy and chaos. That's about it.
True. Start with Astral Chain first. That may be an unpopular opinion, but that's my favourite. But...
Astral Chain is the prequel to Bayonetta. Heard it here first, folks.
You've got the lore. Your uncle works at Platinum Games, right? So
He does, actually, yeah. He works at their Nintendo, Microsoft. He works at all of them.
busy guy.
He's a busy guy. Yeah.
Does he, by any chance, work at Game Freak? Because he might be able to let us in on some secrets of the new Pokemon games upcoming. Because we got some new trailers for those recently. How's that for a segue? Boom. But first of all, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. We got the new trailers where they showed off the Poketech, which seems to have things like HMs built into it rather than teaching them to Pokemon, and a few other features on that.
Yeah.
Seems very streamlined, which is good, because Gen 4 needs to be streamlined from what I've heard.
Oh,
we saw
the
things
old
like
games, there were a lot of things like that, especially with just HMs though, because you just had to have like a Bidoof following you around the whole time.
I mean, how is that a bad thing? I fail to see the problem there. You're just going to be OP.
Well, the
if you've got
difference
Bidoof
between the
with you.
HM slave Bidoof and the god Bidoof is quite stark sometimes.
Oh, fair point. We also saw things like Poffings and Amity Square, where you can have, I think it was 6 Pokemon following you around.
Yes.
Generally, it just looks nice. What did you think of the trailer?
I was just very glad to see what they showed off, because of course the initial fear that a lot of people expressed from the very first trailer was, this looks alright, of course it's debatable, but are they going to have all the features from the old stuff, or are they going to make it as bare bones as they could, like Sword and Shield was?
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad at the very least they've brought in a lot of the old things into the game, such as that, they're sort of just showing off more from the past.
Definitely.
So yeah, that should be a lot of fun, really. Not sure what else there is to say about it, but I'm just glad it's there.
Moving on to the next one then, Pokemon Legends Arceus. They showed off a few new stuff. We saw like some different characters you'll meet in the game. Wardens, I think they were called.
Yes.
So we got some new character designs. They showed off, one of my favourite things was when he throws his Pokeball in midair, it does like a Breath of the Wild slow-mo, which I thought was bullet time kind of.
So cool, like the part where they jump off, or the Baskia Legion flies into the air, and
that was it. Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of potential just with the riding Pokemon thing. I already thought that was cool, but seeing like the Hisuian Braviary swooping in as well and all that, it looks great. It looks so good.
The game continues to look really nice, and they ended it with a new Pokemon, Cleavor.
Yeah.
Kai, you're the more the Pokemon fan here. What do you think of this new Pokemon?
I think it looks cool. At first I was a little confused because I thought, like, is this like a Pokemon you can catch? Is it a legendary or something like that? Because it had like all the special stuff around it. And then it's like, it's just Cleavor. And then it's like, it's evolution of Cypher.
Right.
It was Cypher, wasn't it? No.
Caesar?
Caesar? I actually need to check that real quick. I can't remember if it's Cypher or Caesar.
Yeah, I can picture the Pokemon, I just don't know the names. But
let me check real quick. But yeah, I think it looks great. I really like the new design, Bug Rock type, which suits, I suppose. Looking forward to seeing more Hisuian Pokemon show up, just because I think that the sort of older designs are quite interesting to look at.
Definitely. And on that topic, if you're interested in potential other ideas for Hisuian Pokemon forms, maybe stay tuned to this channel. That's all I say. We might have a video coming up some point in the near future on that, so stay tuned.
I just checked. Yeah, it's an evolution of Cypher. So that means that Cypher now has actually like 2 evolutions, being Scizor and Cleavor, for I guess different situations, which is cool. They did a similar thing with one of the Pokemon Actually, no, they did quite a few of them in Galar with that, such as Mr. Mime.
Yeah.
Wait, no, Mr. Mime didn't have an evolution.
No.
Who am I thinking of?
You just love Mr. Mime so much, you can't stop thinking about it.
No, I'm thinking of Corsola. That might be it. Wait, no, they didn't have a split evolution either. Ignore me, I'm waffling. Let's focus on the fact that in the
Sam
game...
is face-palming watching this.
I was trying to think of an example and I couldn't think of one off the top of my head. Let's focus instead on the fact that on top of all this things, like it's quite interesting with the lore of the game, isn't it? How there's all the older stuff, the old designs for the Pokemon and Jubilife and that sort of thing. And then there's just a god phone. You just own a phone of God of Arceus. That just casually they were like, oh yeah, you've got this phone. It's like, okay, well that's odd, but probably going to make things much more convenient. So
if it makes things more convenient, streamline stuff, I'll take it.
Well, speaking of that, I looked at the some of the bits of like the menus in the game. I really like the UI. It really does remind me of Breath of the Wild, while also having its own sort of style to it. It just looks clean though. It looks really good. It's
nice to see Pokemon fans being largely positive, so it doesn't happen often.
Yes. It's because well, not even Game Freak making a good game here, but it's a good Pokemon game. Finally. Well, I don't want to be one of those fans, but it's a good
more
new
effort.
Pokemon game. More effort, that's the way to put it. It definitely looks like there's been more effort put into it. So I'm really glad to see all of that.
And again, Pokemon Diamonds and Pearl remakes are coming soon, but Legends Arceus is early next year. There's another thing for the long list of stuff coming out next year that, oh god, I can't keep up with it all, but
yeah, just tell me about it.
Moment of silence for everyone's wallets and free time.
Yeah. Honestly.
But I think that's enough news for one day, though. So let's end off the news there. There's been a lot of good stuff, and let's have a look about what we've been playing in the present, because we're going to move on to our next segment of the podcast, Games Time, baby, where we talk about the games that we've been playing over the past month. Basically 2 months for me, because I'm on such a backlog of these, where I'm just going to have to skip over some games. I've been playing too many. I would be here a while. What about you, Kai? Have you been playing a lot recently?
I suppose there's two to talk about, yeah.
Do you want to start things off with your first one?
How about we make the first one a joint one, and let's talk about the fact that we played on stream, Trine 2. That was a good thing.
Yes!
That was a while back.
Yeah.
Wait, did we talk about that already? We didn't, did we?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I've talked about it before we played it together, but...
There we go, it's fine then. Yeah, so we did that on my stream a while back. Just sort of went through the whole game, both of us, and then Tom Beam or Duck. It was really fun. Yeah, I liked all the additions they made. The platforming was still cool, also difficult, of course. I don't know why I have such an affinity for all the gravity-based
because
items
it's
in the
game breaking and it's fun.
I guess so. I guess gravity-based items in a platforming game is going to do that to me. But no, that was all quite fun. So I just wanted to say, I really enjoyed that. Looking forward to playing the third one. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting because 3 is a 3D game and it's quite a bit different. Our plans, I think, are we're going to play 3 on the channel here with Sam at some point, and then we'll do 4 on Kai's stream with Tom again. And 4 is definitely the most polished and refined game. There's a lot of cool tweaks there.
That's cool.
Out of curiosity, what was it like playing the Thief as opposed to the Knight? Do you have a preference over them, or?
I wouldn't say there's a strict preference, but I do. Of course, as it should be, they excel at different things, which sort of was cool. So, the warrior in the first game, I just liked how good he was at trolling, and just the gravity shield mainly was amazing. Yeah. Of course, it was nice being able to fight things. On the other hand, playing as the rogue in this game was cool because of the mobility. Of course, the grappling hook's really cool as is, but it made the game feel much more fluid. Just the way I was able to move so freely around the areas. That definitely made the game just feel nicer to play. Less trollability overall, but there were some sort of puzzles where I could troll with the gravity arrows. You know, it was always there. So
I was
nothing
definitely
felt
feeling the pain at
lost.
some moments.
Yeah, the rogue definitely didn't feel like it was missing anything compared to the
Yeah.
knight. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was like necessarily I liked it more. I liked them both around the same, but they were both really cool. I just struggled trying the mage.
Yeah. Oh, but maybe that's your next role then. If you've done 2 of them, Kai, yeah,
Yeah.
got to follow up the trilogy.
Okay.
But yeah, that was good fun, and I enjoyed playing that, and look forward to getting through the next one. That will be interesting. 3's very janky, even more so. It's broken,
Oh,
so
goodness.
it's going to be fun.
I mean, I guess 3D will make that happen.
Oh yeah. But I guess I'll talk about one of my games I played, and I referenced this a few times earlier. I played Nier Automata. Or was it Automata? I don't even know.
Automata, I'd guess.
That's what I'm going to say with. I think Carl said it differently last time when he talked about it. But you know what? My... That's it. So I was playing Nier Automata here, and it's just fantastic. It is just a really, really good game. I only picked it up because PlayStation Now had a trial for £1 for a month. So I thought I might as well give it a shot for £1 and download a few games from it.
Playing Nier for free is like, or for £1
for
is
£1.
insane. That's so crazy.
And that was enough time.
Props to you know, the PS5 and all that, just for being able to make that happen, because there's so many cool games you can get for so cheap.
Definitely. And it was just... it's not a game I had sort of a bit of an interest in, but I wasn't sure I'd ever get around to it, but this gave me the right opportunity to, and I'm so glad I did, because it's just so fantastic. I mean, I did through all of the main story routes. There's a few different endings you have to go through, and as our friend Oliver will tell you, just keep playing it till it ends, just keep going, and you will want to, because there is so much. The story is interesting, the characters are great, the music is just the best thing ever. I mean, quite simply, if you heard the music in the cards game that Yoko Taro is working on, very similar vibes to that. I'll hopefully slot some into the video for this podcast, actually. Just, it's so atmospheric, and it's all on Spotify as well, so go listen to it if you haven't, but just play this game. It's a lot of fun. The action is very fast-paced. You've got a few different characters who mix up things a little bit, but generally you're much like, you know, sort of Bayonetta style. You're doing fast-paced action, chaining things together. I think it is Platinum, so there's a lot of similarities between sort of Astral Chain and Bayonetta again here. But it's just a beautiful game, I think, is the best way I can put it. And there were so many times that it just left me in awe in what I was looking at, and what was happening. So I can't even tell you on the ending, and something just... Even in the end credits, even something happened to make me go, "What the heck?" So it's that kind of game for you.
A lot of plot
it's very
twists
special.
I've heard, yeah.
A lot of it. If you haven't been spoiled on it, don't spoil yourself. Go play.
Yeah,
it
that's one game I've deliberately been keeping myself blind on.
Yeah, I mean, you can, even outside of the free trial, you can straight up buy the game for like 17 quid on Amazon, so it's not too expensive. It's definitely recommend it whenever you have time for it. It's a really special experience, and I need to play Replicant at some point, which is the remake of the first Nier game. So that's on my list. But Kai, why don't you give us the second thing you've been playing?
Right, this one's been a long time coming at this point. Let's talk a little bit about Miitopia. What a game! What a game! So I streamed this. I think it's like 2 months ago at this point. And just what a brilliant game! Like, you know, it's an RPG. It's a traditional RPG that has its own like quirky elements to it. You choose every single character in the game. You can choose their personalities, which, you know, affects quite a lot. The fact that their personalities affects their gameplay is even better. Like, it just makes the game feel very alive. The music is just brilliant. Like, I don't know why they made the music so good for a game about Miis. But here we are. It's phenomenal.
The Great Sage theme gets me every time. It's so good, and the remixes
Great
of
Sage
it,
theme's amazing. There's a lot of different songs that use the Great Sage motif later in the game, which again is brilliant. I think my favourite two themes from the game are the Powder Peaks battle theme, and I guess I don't want to spoil it, but the final boss's first phase, that battle theme as well is just so brilliant. But overall, like the soundtrack is better than it should be. The game itself is just very creative. Like it's all about, of course, people's faces being stolen. So all the enemies are like these random objects that have had faces be put onto them. So it's just really creative with all of that. They drop food, and there's like 300 different types of food that all have their own different artwork and descriptions. All the enemies, there's like a mode where you can look at the enemies and sort of throw things at them, I believe, like it's Pikmin or something. It's so creative, and it's not even a short game either. Yeah, charming is definitely the way to put it, and of course I like my charming games.
Because I haven't played this myself, it's one of those games where it just fell under the radar because there's so many games to play, and I wasn't going to get time for it. So I watched your Let's Play of it, or your Twitch streams of it, and it was just, I really enjoyed the streams. They were great fun. The game has so much personality to it. I mean, it helps that I was, of course, a character in it, so what can I say? That just makes any game better by default, of course. But yeah, it was a really fun watch time, and I mean, I think just to speak about what they upgraded from the 3DS version, because of course it's a remake.
Yes.
Just the stuff they did with the character creator made things so much cooler and just bonkers.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's incredible what people can make. Like that was definitely the biggest change from the 3DS version. Of course, the other things include like the horse edition. The horse is overpowered, which makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That sort of adds to it. You've got, of course, the upgraded visuals, so now the game actually looks like. If I mean, you might not think it at first because it's a Mii game, but when you actually look at some of the backgrounds in the areas, they're incredibly well made. But the game's not even short either. That's the thing. Like the main story itself is probably like 40 hours for a lot of people, something along those lines. Maybe 30 if you're going through it a bit quicker. And then that brings me on to the post game. Now. This is definitely not the highlight of the game, like the main story is, where there's more things happening. But for completionists who want to buy it, the post-game's big. The thing I was always saying is the post-game is 3 times bigger than the regular game. That was wrong. It's a lot more than 3 times bigger. Oh my god, it's... The main reason for this is the post-game opens up 2 new areas, whereas the main game has, 9 maybe? But the fact that you can upgrade your character's levels and equipment a lot more than the main story lets you. It's just so much more to it. The only problem is that it's not interesting. Just put simply, once you've learned all of the moves and all of that, the stuff that's left isn't incredibly interesting. It's very just grindy, boring. But I still enjoyed it because I like the game a lot. It reached a point where I was trying to 100% the game and get all of the achievements. The only problem is, I was playing the game for probably 2 hours a day for like 3 weeks in order to get all my characters to the max level. So that's like a lot of time, multiple hours every day for a couple of weeks. One of the achievements is to essentially do that 11 more times, which would mean that if I'm playing for a couple of hours a day, every day, it would take me like half of a year just to get all the achievements. Like the achievements are they're a little bit whack. I think they're too unrealistic, although I guess it does truly encompass what 100% would mean in the game. A lot of it's a bit tricky, but so it's sort of left the game on a sour note for me. But the other like 90% of the game and the main highlight of the main game is just it's phenomenal, and I think it's genuinely one of, if not the best game to introduce people to RPG games like at all. even more
I can
than
see it.
like Pokemon or any other mainline user-friendly RPG game. I just think Miitopia sells it the best because, because of things like status effects. They're not like poisoned, paralyzed. Where you're like, what does that mean? It's they're crying, therefore they can't hit you, or they're busy laughing, so they can't attack. It's the extra bits of personality and the way they convey information in the game is
I
just
mean,
incredible for new players to the series.
can you play as Peter Griffin in Pokemon? I don't think so. So there we go.
True. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just phenomenal. That's all it is.
Very good. Yeah, I enjoyed watching it. And I guess for my next thing, my next game is technically 4 games. So
Okay. Oh yeah.
Go to-
Yeah.
I'm going to break this down a little bit, but in the build-up for Metroid Dread, which I'm very excited for, I went over the last 2 months and replayed the 2D Metroid series. And by that I mean the definitive version of each game. So for Metroid 1 I played Zero Mission, and for 2 I played Samus Returns, then just Super Metroid and Fusion, which are the only versions of those games. And man, I had such a fantastic time with it. Metroid is just such a really consistently great series. And I'll go into each one a little bit. I won't spend too long here because it'd be here forever. And generally, they're quite similar. But Zero Mission, which I had to dig my Wii U for out of storage, and by that I mean just the back of the shelving unit. But
Cool.
it's a remake of 1, which definitely needs a remake because the original has not aged very well remotely. And it's just a very solid remake. I think it's the most balanced of the Metroid games, where it really balances the exploration with the linearity, which is kind of a thing for Metroid fans prefer one or the other, but this really encompasses both together. It of course introduces Zero Suit as well, with a new stealth section at the end, which is really cool, and has some great lore to it, so I was really happy to play this for the first time and I had a really enjoyable time with it. Samus Returns is of course the most recent one, which is by the same team, Mercury Steam, who are making Dread, and that's my favourite game just because of how modern it is. The counter move, which allows you to instantly counter physical attacks, which usually physical attacks are quite annoying in Metroid games because you can only dodge them, but
Yeah.
giving you a way to counteract that, especially in boss fights, really changes things up. And as you've seen in the Dread trailers, they make it so beautiful and cinematic. It is.
Oh,
it
looks
feels
great,
like you're.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like you're taking part in some sort of like alien movie, like Alien, of sorts. It really immerses you in the environment, and the gameplay as well is just incredibly solid. It kind of balances linearity and exploration as well, where you go in a linear fashion between these different sections, and then within those sections you can explore quite a bit to hunt down the Metroids. But
Yeah. The
it's
amount
just
of branching paths there are is crazy.
a lot, yeah, and but thankfully it has the best map features and exploration features for accessibility and finding everything there is to see. And the final boss, I won't spoil it, but genuinely might be one of my favourite final bosses in any game ever. It's just
Oh, really?
so good, yeah. It's a new boss. It wasn't in the original Metroid 2, but it's really fantastic. So great time, and I'm glad this team are making Dread. Then Super Metroid, which I've played before, but this was my first time finishing it. And it is the exploration game. If you like the exploration, you are getting it in spades here. And I think what I particularly find with Super Metroid is it holds up insane. It's probably the best aged game out of all these classic games. I compare that to like Mario World and A Link to the Past.
Okay.
I know those games have both aged pretty well, but I honestly think Super Metroid, there's only a few moments where I really feel it. Generally, it feels almost modern still in some aspects to it, and just how smooth it plays. There's still gripes like the map. You can't, you can't see where the green doors are for super missiles if you need to go and find one of those.
Yeah.
You can't look in the maps of a different area when you're not in that area, and there's bits of jank to it, but I can see why it's some people's favourite, because no game has the feeling of exploring an alien planet quite like this game does. And I think you've even played a bit of it, haven't you, Kai?
Yeah, I've played a couple hours worth of Super Metroid. It was good. It was fun.
Yeah, really solid game. And complete opposite end of the spectrum, Fusion, which is the linear game. It is the one that goes all in on story details and does it quite well, but quite particularly, it really goes in on the horror. and being the suspense of being chased down by this monster called the SAX, which is like a version of Samus. And I think you can sort of see the influence of that in Dread, being hunted down by, I believe they're called the Emmy, those robots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that was just a really good game for that sort of the suspense and the atmosphere of it. And I think that's the coolest thing about the Metroid series is going by the definitive version of each of these games. I don't think there's a clear favourite. Every one is pretty evenly spread as someone's favourite. You know, I've seen so many people say they love Zero Mission's their favourite because of how it balances it. I've seen people say Samus Returns because of how modern it is and the counter. I've seen Super Metroid because of the exploration and Fusion because of the suspense. You know, they all bring something completely
something
unique.
good about them.
Yeah, and none of them are like a weak link, and that just makes me so much more excited for Dread, which I as you might have seen in our reaction video. Well, actually, no, we didn't put this in the reaction video. I was just closing my eyes for that section because
I
don't want to see more. Yeah, I just want to go into the game blind now because I'm so excited for it. But Metroid, good, really good, and I mean, I'm looking forward to Prime 4 as well whenever that comes out. Prime's a good series. Need to play Prime 2. I've played Prime 1 and 3, not 2, don't ask. But yeah, 2D Metroid just hits differently, and it's fantastic at what it does, and I'm looking forward to Dread so much. It should be good. That has been my Metroid Map Talk for today. So
For today, this time.
I do want to quickly mention as well.
Until Dread comes out.
Oh, I'm going to be talking because that will be my main topic for next month's Games Time Baby. So
okay.
be prepared to hear a lot about that. But I do want to quickly mention. I'm not going to go into them because we don't have time. But I also played Gravity Rush on the PlayStation Now, and that was a really fun platformer that used gravity mechanics. A bit jank in places, but it had a lot of personality and was a fun game. So if you see it cheap, I'd recommend it. And I also did Deltarune Chapter 2, which is just... It's Toby Fox. It's great. So
yeah, it should be good.
I've had a good time gaming, and it's only going to get better. There's more coming, so good time.
Yes. I guess next month will be when we talk about the Animal Crossing stuff, because they did technically do an announcement, but there will be a direct soon, so we'll be able to talk about that fully once they've, actually released the information about it.
Yeah, we'll have Smash news, we'll have Animal Crossing news, and plenty more, I'm sure, to talk about next month. So, yeah, do stay tuned for the rest of our podcast. This is the end of this show, but we'll be here next month with all of that. We'll do videos in between with extra discussions and some gameplay videos perhaps even, so stay tuned to the channel for all of that. And there will be, of course, Spotify has the audio-only versions of the podcasts and discussions, if you prefer to listen that way. And Kai, where can people find you at?
Twitch.tv/Fascarine. I am currently playing through Great Ace Attorney Chronicles still. I'm on case 3 currently of the first game. And yeah, it's just a complete blast. Again, I'll express my full thoughts on that once I've beaten it. But I'm a big fan of mystery games, and this is living up to the expectations. So yeah,
it's on my list.
That's where you can find me Thursdays and every other Saturday. Yeah, feel free to join in.
Go check that out, and also make sure to check out our graphic designer Sam, who does all the work on the thumbnail and the logo for the channel and all the channel art. Will be links for his stuff. His Twitter in the description below. Thank you, Sam.
Pay for his sparkling alcohol edition. Go on.
You weren't supposed to tell people about that. I'll be fine. I'll cut it out. I probably won't. So, that is it for the video. So thank you so much all of you for watching, and take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.